The enigmatic situation surrounding Kawhi's injury has easily become the biggest story of the year. A continuous stream of viewers has every news and media outlet fabricating a new attention-grabbing headline every week, with Kawhi and his camp not helping the situation at all, with all of their discussions happening behind closed doors. And every new story works exactly in the media's favor. Rather than clearing up and simplifying the situation with any real, concrete answers, they only add to the confusion with more vague, speculative information, which in turn creates more intrigue, more questions arise, leading to more attention on the subject as a whole. In the end, these outlets are left with a huge cash cow that they've been riding now for months on end. And what are we left with? Essentially nothing. Nothing but more questions. I'm here to bring some sense to it all. But first, a shout out to our sponsor, SeatGeek. SeatGeek is an app that finds all the best ticket deals and puts them into one place to simplify the process for you, not only for sports events, but concerts, festivals, comedy, theater, and everything in between. And they're offering you an extra $20 off if you use my promo code CLAY on your first purchase. So say you want to go to one of these upcoming playoff games. Like I said, SeatGeek already did all the searching for you. All you got to do is log in, select the game you want, and they'll rank the tickets from 1 to 100, making it easy to find the best deals. The greener the color, the better the deal. The red ones are overpriced, and the best part is once you select a seat, they'll actually give you the exact view of the arena from where you'd be sitting. Then to finalize the purchase, just remember to use the promo code CLAY if it's your first time, and you'll get that $20 discount. Alright, big thanks to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. If you want to check them out, make sure you use the link in the description so they know that I sent you, and let's get back into it. I mean, do y'all remember how this all started? With the most basic of situations, Kawhi seeking a second medical opinion. From there stemmed the notion that Kawhi and the Spurs organization had grown distant over the resistance he faced when he requested that second medical counsel outside of the Spurs staff. Shortly thereafter, that distance had suddenly turned into a bitter disconnect. Kawhi wanted out. Stephen A. Smith had taken the initial idea and shaped it into this sensationalized exaggeration. Theories varied, none of which with much proven evidence, nothing but empty sources. None of which with much explanation for the sudden shift from a medical disagreement to something completely unrelated, such as a lack of belief in the direction of the franchise moving forward, for whatever reason, from the inability to attract big-name free agents to an inability to compete with today's super teams moving forward into the post-Duncan era, to even uncertainties about Pop's future with the team. Then, we start hearing murmurs here and there of a new theory beginning to spread, that Kawhi is seeking a bigger spotlight, striving to play in a bigger market that would capitalize on his influence as a superstar player with superstar level brand deals, endorsements, shoe deals, etc. Once again, we see a lack of supporting evidence to these claims, yet once again, we see different outlets double down on the already exaggerated narrative with their own added interpretations, taking the position that it's his agent, his uncle, and the rest of his inner circle coercing him into this move, except this time, it's relayed as a fact, when the initial idea was portrayed as nothing more than a self-made theory, without details as to any behind-the-scenes man pushing this agenda, none other than Kawhi's own motive. So which came first, the rumor or the fact? Were the whispers brought about by leaked information from Kawhi's camp itself, or was it simply framed as a fact as a means of attempting to explain the hottest theory at the moment? If there was any leaked information, why was none of it released to begin with? Why did they wait until weeks after the theory began to circulate to support those claims? And more importantly, if we strip away all the extra, stop attempting to decode these cryptic reports, and judge its merits solely on how reasonable this story sounds, how does it make any sense? We keep referring to Kawhi's camp as some secretive, indistinguishable large organization pulling the strings behind closed doors, when at the end of the day, his agent represents him, his uncle advises him, Kawhi is the man in charge. Everything boils down to the decision that he makes on his own. These reports make him out to be some submissive child, easily manipulated and coerced. The biggest lie found in these reports is not that Kawhi may not want to play in a larger market with a more mainstream spotlight. The biggest lie is that we're not even looking to Kawhi himself for the answers. We're twisting facts and drawing assumptions based on his agent's character. The seemingly coincidental information that certain people in his camps have connections to the city of Philadelphia, or the medical staff he seeked out a second opinion with has connections to New York sports clubs. Of course they do. He's a 5-star professional athlete seeking treatment in New York. What's he about to do? Just waltz into the nearest walk-in clinic? No, he will seek out the best of the best, doctors specifically trained to work with athletes, meaning doctors with connections to sports clubs. Do we really think of Kawhi as that compliant? He's sent by his camp to receive treatment from some doctor affiliated with the New York Islanders. His people whisper in his ear like the devil on his shoulder, filling him with temptation, and that's all it takes to cross him to the dark side, coerce him into the extreme action of forcing his way out of a franchise. Furthermore, these are the same exact people that told us just a couple months ago that Kawhi wants out because he didn't believe in the direction of the franchise. The same sources that told us he lost trust in the Spurs medical staff, leading to a loss of trust in the organization as a whole. How does that lead to this? How does a failed diagnosis and a medical disagreement lead to a desire to play in a bigger market? The only thing that makes sense in relation to the core issue, which was a medical one, is the disintegration of relationships due to the tension brought about by seeking a second opinion and being met with resistance. The tension brought about when teammates like Tony Parker come out and downplay his injury, making him out to be a selfish player with no loyalty. The atmosphere is running rampant with contradicting information. The last headlining story was a completely false piece on Kawhi going weeks without responding to Spurs calls and texts, while Greg Popovich, Danny Green, DeJounte Murray, Rudy Gay, and others insist that they've remained in close contact throughout the entire process. Alright, all bullshit aside, here's what we know to be true. There is definitely a sense of tension between Kawhi Leonard and members of the Spurs organization. From executives to players, there is no conclusive evidence to support the theory that Kawhi's camp is trying to sway him to a bigger market. Even if that were true, there is absolutely nothing confirming that he would be swayed. Everything else, the theories, are nothing but exactly that. Theories. Take everything else you read going forward with a grain of salt and consider the possibility that there is really nothing more than what's already been confirmed, some pent-up tension that is still very much resolvable. It's not that the idea that Kawhi is seeking a bigger market isn't plausible. In comparison to what other superstar caliber players are raking in on a yearly basis, Kawhi's earnings aren't even a drop in the bucket. But how much of that is really caused by his market? You look at Russell Westbrook, who's the 5th highest earning player in the league off of shoe endorsements, and he's basically spent his entire career playing in Oklahoma City, the 3rd smallest market in the league, smaller than San Antonio. Kawhi is a superstar athlete, but he's not a superstar. He's not a celebrity. He's a quiet, low-key player who stays as far out of the limelight as possible. If he wants to land bigger brand deals, moving to a bigger market will do practically nothing, unless it comes with a drastic change in personality. And I don't think any of us can imagine Kawhi being an expressive, outspoken player who seeks out being the center of attention. Every basketball fan knows his name. A move to New York or LA or Philly will not bring him more exposure. It may elevate his status in the slightest extent, but at the end of the day, companies want their products showcased by enthusiastic, energetic people who give the impression that they live a typical celebrity lifestyle, and that is not Kawhi. All that we do now is wait and see how this plays out in the offseason. Just like they did almost 2 decades ago with Tim Duncan, the Spurs will meet with Kawhi and use their culture, their extensive history, their elite coaching staff to remind him of the privileges that come with playing in San Antonio. But how impressive will their pitch be this time around? Even if every report we've heard has been false, the entire process is sure to have taken its toll on their relationships. Bonds have been strained. Today's super teams have raised the bar of competition to a whole other level, and San Antonio's extended years of glory are nothing more than a ghost of their past at this point. The head coach that has kept it all together through this transition is aging and possibly nearing retirement, and this very well may finally be the fall from grace of the San Antonio Spurs, but only time will tell. Alright, that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know. Hit that like button. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at ClayAllenTV for exclusive Clay Allen content that you will never see on YouTube. And if you're new to this channel, welcome, subscribe, and make sure you hit the notification bell for more basketball content where journalism meets storytelling. And as always, leave any thoughts, feelings, perspectives in the comment section down below. If the media can run rampant with all sorts of outlandish theories and speculation, well, why can't you? Let me know your own thoughts on this Kawhi situation, and I'll see you next time. Peace.